Hey, welcome to the show.
Welcome back.
This is Chaotic Neutral. I'm Caleb.
I'm
Taylor.
I'm Taylor.
You are Taylor.
Yeah, for now.
Welcome. Today we are talking about TTRPGs, specifically the physical aspects of them. We got some minis here. We got some dice rollers. We'll be talking about maps, terrain, anything physical that goes along with Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder. Yeah, those things.
Basically what we've come to understand in our viewpoints on as DMs, because both of us have run games for a group of people that our D&D group has been playing together for years.
Yes, we have a lot of games under our belt, so we're going to talk about them. Before we get into that, please, if you would, like and subscribe if you feel like it. It's up to you.
No, do it. No, do it.
It would help us out a lot. We appreciate it. And thank you for joining us today. Hop in the comments with your own points or things that you like or things you don't like. And also give us advice.
We're always open. We're, starting out where we are. We're always open to constructive criticism. And sometimes the deconstructive criticism is just kind of funny.
Bully us.
Bully.
All right. So starting out, you've been painting a lot of minis.
Yeah. Recently.
What's your favorite mini that you've painted recently?
It's actually probably going to be one of my crisis suits. I am getting into Warhammer 40K, and I've chosen to start my starting army to be the Tau, for the greater good. I really liked painting Farsight, who's kind of my army leader. He's been a lot of fun, and it's been interesting because we painted little D&D minis before. Well, my crisis suits, I could just pose them in a certain way. I could make them do dynamic actions, and then I could color them to represent where they are in the world. And I've got two different color schemes. I've got something a little closer to Farsight, and I've got something that's my own flavor, which is kind of like a dark blue urban style.
I really enjoy Warhammer being posable.
Yeah. It's really fun. A lot of characterization.
A lot. Recently, I painted, sticking with Warhammer, I have my 1,000 Suns. And the sorcerers, I mixed and matched some of their equipment and posed them. So I'm like building character in my head as I'm building this mini. And that's so cool. And a lot of, obviously some D&D minis let you do that, but most of them just come as is. And whatever pose they have is what they have.
Well, I think the general experience for a lot of people that go and start buying minis is if you're not getting like a starter kit that has something with it in it already, you're going to your local game store, if you have one, or you're going to one of these big retail stores and seeing what they have. And oftentimes it's going to be like a little cardboard little thing that has one figure in it for like $10.
Oh, I'm more than that now.
It's something like that. So it's like you got to really pick through, and sometimes that can be fun. Like you create a character in D&D, and you're looking for your very specific. This is going to represent my character on the tabletop, and I'm going to be like really proud of them, and especially if you paint them.
Or the flip side, as a dungeon master, I love going into stores and looking at the monster minis and just getting inspired.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know how I can work a air elemental into this next game, but now I'm really considering dropping $20 and figuring it out.
Exactly.
I want to paint this guy.
It's super cool.
I have a you've definitely seen him. It's a giant horned devil miniature that I haven't even painted it yet. I bought it specifically the first time it got brought up that the campaign I was running possibly could go to the hells. I bought that thing. That was like 2.5 to 3 years ago. Still haven't gone to the hells, but I still have that mini. And honestly, on that note, I just remembered I have a beholder that I painted purple.
You did paint a beholder. It turned out really well.
That one's got to be high on my list.
Yeah, that's a fun one
because that one has the different eye stalks. And you can trade those out with the eye stalks that are actively firing the spells. So you do a little mess and match.
You have a really cool bear that you did a really good job on, and that's like it's a bear.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, you still want it to look good, and I think he does.
Yeah.
So
got an ogre that I spent, I think, 2 hours getting the skin tone correct because it was a really shitty mini. So I was like, I have to try really hard. So I did like the undertones of like red and green before building up to its outer tones, and it came together right.
Learning to paint is a very daunting process. And like the worry that you're going to do a bad job is going to keep you from doing it a lot.
Yeah.
You got to move past that.
Yeah, that's art in general. If you have the urge to do something, you just do it because you'll come out of the other side knowing more things. If you let the lack of knowledge or fear of messing up hold you back, you won't paint any minis. And like go grab the cheapest minis you can find and practice on those if you're really like don't want to mess up your $100 mini that like you just bought a giant dragon mini and want to make sure he's perfect.
Right.
Well, don't start on that one.
Yeah, I think you get better and you learn how to do it. You learn different techniques. You try something a little different on this guy. I just got done painting a bunch of Pathfinders, which are basically just a bunch of infantry for the Tau. And I tried a different technique for painting these guys, and I feel that I was able to give it a lot more detail. But these are like the 15 through 25 it's figures that I painted like in the row of 1, 2, 3, 4.
You know, in your rhythm, you know which pattern you're going to use.
I know what
is it on where.
Yeah, I've got everything set up. I have my own little workstation and kind of thing. It's very soothing because you just throw a video on in the background.
Yeah, you almost zone out like when you really get into a rhythm.
Yeah, you either hyper fixate or you just like vibe.
Yeah, it's great. Which are you the kind who you'll sit and you'll do one mini, then one mini, then one mini, or are you batch making? Are you doing like black on all the minis, then you go back and do your reds on all the minis, and then do your detail work on all your minis?
It depends on what I'm working on, but more often than not, yeah. If I'm working on like Farsight over here, I had a color scheme I wanted to replicate with what I had available paint wise. So I got the pose. And I knew what I wanted to do for the coloring. So I went through and did him. He was a project unto himself.
Oh, he's a big boy.
Yeah, the larger models are. But when I'm doing like the Pathfinders, which are a bunch of little guys, or like some of these Space Marines, I didn't do these. These are the fiance, and she's way better than I am off the cuff.
They do look amazing.
Her World Eaters are insane.
Yes.
They're so good. I like to do... I know what I'm painting. I already have the color scheme, and especially if it's just something simple. I'm going to go through each mini as they are set up, do the layer, go back in and do the second layer of whatever that second color may be, and then rinse and repeat. I find that's the most efficient way to get through a bunch of the same. It gets a little monotonous.
It can. I would say that's the only downside to Warhammer, because you don't really have that in most other games. You'll get like a mini and then paint that mini, and over time you'll build on them. Any Warhammer is like Warhammer or any war game. Yeah, you'll have 10 guys at once, and you're like, well, I can't field 2 of them that are painted, so you really have to just sit there until you get all of them done. I'd say that's the only downside.
And to clarify, like, I'm only painting with brushes. Like, I don't. That is a true airbrush.
I've heard that takes a lot of time out of it.
It does take a lot of time out of it, and I imagine if I were to get like one of the tanks for like the Imperium or something like that, if I want to paint a brick, I'll just airbrush the thing and be done in a lot less time than me going back over and getting everything. But I don't know.
You guys are really into it. Like, have you looked into airbrushes at all?
No. Honestly, I know that it's an option. I haven't personally looked at it because there's something about learning the fundamentals of how this all works. I got a friend that got me into it, and she showed me some of her like salamanders, which is another Space Marine faction. And she was just showing me some of the details and stuff, and I knew that if I wanted to do this, if I wanted to get into it and I wanted to do well, that I wanted my minis painted and I wanted to paint them.
Yeah.
And I knew the best way for me to get good at doing it was to do it myself. So starting from the ground level and going up, it takes longer, but I do feel very accomplished.
Yeah. I've briefly looked into airbrushes. The cheaper ones, it seems like, are just not worth it. So if you're going to get them, you have to get like mid or higher tier airbrush,
probably, but you get what you pay for.
I'm kind of in that same camp where, like, I mean, I paint in my free time, just generally, like paint on canvases. paint, do other digital art with my hands specifically. And I assume airbrushing uses same techniques, so I would get the satisfaction out of it. But I getting the paintbrush in the paint and then putting that paint on a mini, it is almost like therapeutic to me.
The feel of it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The feel. I can feel every detail on the mini as I'm going through. I worry that with an airbrush, I wouldn't get that same satisfaction.
I mean, obviously, you're using it to like cut out priming or like doing just base coats of certain colors.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I sometimes prime with like spray paint, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, brush priming is a waste of time, in my opinion.
Not the way I do it. I do it real edge. Yeah. No,
If I do, that's how I do.
No, I do account for like watering the paints and like making sure there's not too much, but like with priming, it's literally just get the paint on the thing and move it around the thing until you can't see.
As long as you're not covering up details, get on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's a good discussion, especially to talk about like physical little pieces like this. But I do think for a lot of people who are kind of either whatever it is that's stopping you from getting into it, there are alternatives to getting like little figures. There are tokens. A lot of starter kits come with little cardboard or little stickers that go on like that little plates.
So you remember what I would do when we first started playing D&D campaign?
Yeah.
I would get the little fabric stickers that you stick on like the bottom of chairs or sofas.
Yeah.
And then I would go and print off tokens, so I didn't have to pay for anything. Then you just tear the backing off of the little felt sticker and put it on there, and now you have a little felt token that can be on your maps and not scratching things. And it's, that I use that, I think, for years.
You don't have to worry about them getting crushed. You could have,
one got messed up, reprint it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so those were really fun. So yeah, I agree with you. Don't let minis or painting minis, they're a great part of the hobby, but don't let it keep you from getting into storytelling games.
You just want to play the game.
Yeah.
There is a point, and I think we'll save it to the end to just as like a blanket statement, talk about the theater of the mind.
Oh, I thought that was going to be the next transition.
We could, but I think we should stick with the solidity of a lot of these things.
Stick with physical things. Yeah, okay.
But then come back, maybe couch it back into going like, hey, all this stuff is auxiliary. It's all additives. It's not the bar of playing. No. If you want to play the game, you can literally sit in a room with your friends or sit online and just talk. That is the game.
That is the game.
At least for things
you don't
like
technically need dice. For what I agree. Let's stick with physical things. I think that's as good of a disclaimer. I don't think we need to touch it. We love theater to mind, but as far as if you want added benefits to your game, physical stuff does add. We've talked about minis. Let's transition into terrain. Do you have any terrain pieces that are like minis, like the pre-made, pre-printed one?
Most of what I have is these tile sets. And what I mean by tile sets are like little cardstock, hard cardboard rectangles or squares. And some of them get like really detailed and become like half circles. Some of them are just like little archways. Some of them are yay big and are representations of like carts or doors or tables. And
I really like your carts ones. Those ones get brought up almost every game.
They're very useful because you can reuse these things.
Yeah, and that's the added benefit about any physical stuff. If it's tile or if it's a real like model. Or I shouldn't say real, because the tile is real because everything's make-believe. Having something on a map just helps your players get into that mind space so much. And I've seen it with a lot of people that I've played with where they'll be like, oh, I didn't think of that. And like, oh, I didn't think to jump on the cart or hide under the cart because I didn't really acknowledge that there was a cart there.
You said it was there, but in my mind's eye of the thing,
it's just out of the periphery. But when you see it on a board, and like me as a player, I love anything that's on a board I'm gonna mess with. And if I see a cart on the board in any variety drawn to model, my character's probably going to end up there or on a box or on a roof.
Right.
It gives me stuff, tangible stuff to interact with. It helps my decision making, and it adds layers to the story.
And you can get as detailed and as expansive as you want with it too. The same argument applies for like maps and terrain, where if you have nothing but maybe a pencil or different colored pens, or even colored pencils, hell, crayon, I don't care. If you have any idea, a rough sketch of what the area looks like on a piece of paper does wonders to conveying where you are to your characters, to your players.
I mean, I've done it so many times. Well, it would just be a random back alley street fight that just happened, and people were like, "Where are we?" And I'm like, "Obviously, I didn't plan for this fight to happen.
No.
So here, you take this die, you take this die, this dice. This is you. This is you. This is you. This is where you guys are in space.
Yeah.
And the dice are the map now. And immediately, everyone's on the same page. They know where they are. They know where they are in space relation to other people. And it does help. It's not needed. It's not a requirement.
I think,
but you'll notice that it becomes one.
I think at a certain point when in our games, I mean, we play with like 8 people at the table,
10,000 people at the table.
Yeah. So I think at a certain point, you really do need to have some kind of representation be a visual. And back in the, a while back, it was a little bit harder for like games online to have that, but since that, there's also tons of programs and add-ons and apps and things.
I've basically switched to digital maps.
Yeah, digital maps and digital tokens.
I haven't made a physical map in so long, so I
don't think I'll ever stop.
That's fine. I don't know that I ever will again. Which is
it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of planning. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's the same amount of planning. Obviously I put a TV on our table.
Yeah.
So we play with a screen, and I utilize it so I can make digital maps very quickly. And it kind of gives me that freedom as a creator of like, oh, I'm making a piece of art with different programs, but also easier to make, like, oh, here's a bunch of rocks. Same thing as I said before. It took me 0 time to put those rocks there, but now those rocks my players can interact with. And it gives me a little bit of freedom to make those things. I love the physical stuff. I like that when we switch and I'm in the player's chair and you're in the dungeon master's chair, I know those tiles are probably coming out, because that physical nature does add. It adds in a much different way. And like, you don't need all the details that usually come with a digital map.
But they do go a long way. It's a little bit of extra. It's a little bit of just a different. It's the same medium, but it's a different tool.
Yeah.
Right. Same with the like airbrushes. Same medium.
Exactly. Any tool that helps the creator get their idea across, I think, is fine. And a lot of people in narrative, whatever you want to call them, TTRPGs, narrative gameplay, Dungeons and Dragons and Friends, a lot of people kind of get the feel that they have to play a certain way, or they've seen someone do something and so they want to do that.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. That's how I learned. Like, I tried to be Matt Mercer for the longest time. And then as soon as I was like, actually, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. Sometimes you gain friction with people if they're expecting a certain thing.
Yeah.
So always be upfront with your players, but especially if you're starting out, sometimes not knowing what to do is the best thing. Like, not trying to imitate someone, not trying to know if you know what to do or the rules or anything, just starting. Same thing with the minis. Just go do it. Just go tell a funny story with some friends.
Yeah. If you stick with it, you will find the things that work for you and the things that don't. And that's, it's an iterative process, right?
Yes.
You work at it, you get better every time you do it. It's the same way with painting. DMing on a broader concept, running a game is also that.
It took me 3 years of near weekly gameplay until I was like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing. It took me so long, and now I'm in a comfortable spot where I'm like, whenever I do DM, because it's obviously fewer and far between now, but whenever I get in that chair, like, I'm just so comfortable now. But it wasn't like that for the longest time. So that, again, don't let that gate keep you. Don't let the fear goes away eventually, but embrace the fun in the moment. Like, as long as you're gearing towards what makes you have fun and your players have fun, cool. If your players love minis, use any kind of mini you can. Go to Barnes and Noble and get dinosaur minis for $5, sure, and use those.
Hobby Lobby, things like that. Joanne's. La Joanne.
When you had us fight a T-Rex the other day, I for sure thought some little
Jurassic Park mini,
little T-Rex was coming out.
That would have been cool. But yeah, little one shot where we're just having fun, random, anything can happen. I get the idea to have you guys, because it's D&D. Let's have them fight a dinosaur. It's fun.
If you haven't fought a dinosaur, tell your DM to have you fight a dinosaur. It's so much fun.
It's goofy. You can do a lot of fun things with that.
Yeah, I think I've had 2 or 3 T-Rexes. I can't remember. One of them was a skeletal T-Rex. Had to shake it out. Yeah, that one was very fun.
I'm excited to revisit that idea with different types of like our understanding. And like a lot of the mentality of fighting a dinosaur comes from like the Jurassic Park series too.
But mine was a straight rip of Jurassic Park. You guys fought like in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like that was so long ago.
Other than that, in terms of terrain, like there's also like little starter kits, and the same way with like character pieces. There's tons of things where I think what I started out with was the 4th edition D&D like starter box that came with little character tokens that I still have, and paper maps that had like pictures printed on them, and you could use one side was a map, and you flip it over, it's an entirely different map, or you fold it in half and it becomes, here's a crossroads on this side, flip it over, oh, you fold it a different way, and now it's an inn with a garden kind of thing. If you're a creative type and you want to add some 3-dimension to your figure, there's like we live in a world where like 3D printing is like more and more available, which is fun, but it can be expensive. So an alternative to that is something that I've done before, which is go get styrofoam. Yeah. Go get little styrofoam bricks and boards and stuff, cut them up, get an X-Acto knife, get a little hot knife and just super glue. Just start putting stuff together. And it doesn't have to be an exact representation. It's a scale thing.
Yeah. It doesn't
but it goes a long way.
I'll tell you, dude, I had so much fun, and I haven't done it since because it is so much of a process, but I had so much fun building the cavern for the bone dragon fight that we had.
Yeah.
I literally built, the map was probably like this big, a giant rectangle, and it was all made of styrofoam. There was a resin river running through it. I had molded stalagmites out of clay and had those everywhere.
Yeah.
Then I built up the sides with styrofoam, so there's actual walls and elevations that you guys could fight on. And then I built an Aztec temple to put at the DM side of it. And that thing was immaculate. And it took way too long to make.
Yeah, and you could use it the one time.
And it was for the one battle. We never went back to a cavern ever again.
Yeah.
The Aztec temple is now on my wall as decoration. But again, I had so much fun.
Yeah, the
experience, the fun, like, that's why I was doing it. It's like no one was going to appreciate that as much as I was. And if you're coming from that perspective, no matter what you're doing in TTRPG space, you're doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're 100% doing it right. I would tell you, I do want to do that again when we play like Warhammer fights.
Yeah,
I would love to make like that level of detail for some battle maps.
And the cool thing about that is like you can just make very generic ruins or buildings.
Yes, yeah, with like a war game that's much more versatile than a adventuring game.
I think when we tried, we started out just testing like what a Warhammer game even played like with army men.
Yeah.
There's tons of other things you can use as representations of your characters as well.
It was so fun. I forgot about it. You can use pennies for all it mattered, but you really use. Well, we were playing a war game, so we used little army men. Like the army men you get in a
and
box.
it came in a little bucket, and the bucket had barbed wire and sandbag terrain.
That's right.
The top of it was a bunker. So you would unscrew the top and put it down, and there was like a trench inside of it and a bridge going over for the handle.
I almost forgot about that. Yeah, that was wild.
And that's stuff on my coffee table, and like that's
literally used like the candles.
Yeah,
as like building stuff, and it worked perfectly.
Your mind, once you start playing, your mind fills in what that is. That's a silo. That's a wall. That's a building. That's a toppled that's a toppled structure.
Yeah, you really can't, like D&D, you can get away with no maps, theater of the mind. You can't with a war game. War game terrain.
No, it's
necessary.
It's contingent on having it.
Like you have like line of sight and stuff. So you got take Ellis out here. Well, yeah, like you need, like you can't even use a flat map because you need the line of sight for the elevation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I stand behind this rock. Well, how high is the rock? Can my guy see you? Like those things you have to know.
Movement going over that thing too, if that's a thing.
Yeah. So Warhammer, out of all the TTRPGs, has the most gatekeeping. It's like you have to have minis. You don't necessarily have to paint them, but you have to have them and build them. You have to have some kind of terrain. It doesn't have to be real terrain. It can be candles and shit that you find.
Yeah.
But you need something.
You need something.
And you definitely need a tape measure. Like you
probably need a tape measure, or at the very least a ruler.
Or a string that you know
how long it's something.
Abacus.
And that's related to that style of gaming on a tabletop. But like, again, with a lot of these,
you don't need anything for Call of Cthulhu.
No, not really. I mean, again, there's stuff that adds to it, and there's like things that I guess we could talk about stuff like atmosphere.
That's about to say props. Because Call of Cthulhu, I'd never use a mini or a map, but I 100% would use a prop.
Yeah, a prop for just being around your players and having them. It also helps, like, we have a good, like, mix of our player base where
we got one of everybody.
Yeah, some people are, and it's a sliding scale of you're very comfortable in playing and role-playing and pretending you're a character and doing a funny voice and, acting. And then there are people that are, my character does this.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, that's fine on either end of that spectrum and anywhere in between.
Because you also have the people who like fundamentally understand every mechanic about their character and the people who have no idea what their character sheet says.
Yeah.
It's like, we've got one of that. We got people who like puzzles, people who like combat, people who like acting, people who just like adventuring and finding lore. We got lore monkeys. There's something for everybody in this game. And when I'm doing something like Call of Cthulhu, and honestly just D&D in general, I love the atmosphere. I've dialed the atmosphere back on my D&D games because I realized that I like encounter building and player choice way more. And I think when I go too deep into atmosphere, it kind of points players in a certain way. But with Call of Cthulhu, you want to point your players in a certain way. So it's like with any game like that, I would like mess with lights. I'd give you props because it's way more of a curated experience. So I would type out like a bunch of stuff. Oh, you discover this. Oh, you discover this. Oh, you find a ruined business card and here it is for you to have. Because those physical things put you more in that specific space. And you're usually only doing like one session for something. Like for a horror game, you've probably never seen these characters again. That's usually how it works. But you know me and my lighting. Lighting is the biggest thing.
That's fun. And I don't know if that really counts as part of our discussion, but like I still think like environment at the table with lighting and music and props, I think it also goes a long way.
Because it's sense based.
It is. It helps make it more believable for your players.
I will say the adverse of that is if your atmosphere is too much or doesn't match what's going on, then that can take players out.
Yeah.
That can have the opposite effect that you want.
Nobody wants nobody wants my epic cool playlist to turn into pop rock.
Yeah. If Sabrina Carpenter suddenly jumps in while we're fighting zombies,
A little strange.
I would like it.
Avant-garde.
I'd like it, but my character would get a little affected.
I would be a little less
sick.
serious.
It does, which honestly, I prefer those games. That's why I don't know if you've noticed, I've taken music out of my games because I thought it had a similar effect like that.
I think,
but if you have a very curated playlist and it works, because I've noticed you doing that a few times, even during like the dinosaur thing, whereas like we're entering a new moment. And I think it works really well with one shots because again, it's more pointed.
it's a lot shorter.
You kind of know where things are going to go a little bit more than an open campaign. So you can be like, oh, they're on the beach now. They need this vibe. Boop. You have one teed up. Boop. You got this song specifically for it. They're being chased now. Now there's the chase song. But yeah, if you don't know where things are going, unless you have a insanely curated playlist and you know that inside it out,
sitting right here.
yeah, if you have sirens straight up and you're good. But I couldn't do that. So I took the music out.
Yeah.
Because it was like I wanted the tone to be whatever the players made it at the table. If they're making it silly and my music's super epic, now there's cognitive dissonance. And I'm like, I'd rather them just embrace their silliness. So I get the hell out with the music. The lighting, I'm never letting that go. I know as soon as battle happens and I flip my LEDs to red, like that just makes me happy.
That's too fun.
No one can see, but I don't care.
Nope. You don't need to see. You just need to play. Just roll the dice. I can't see what's written on my dice. Too bad.
We got a couple of players with glowing dice. I think that becomes a way to go in my game.
Coming handy.
Yeah.
Coming handy.
Have your dice create light source.
Oh man, that's another thing. Dice is another.
What about tile bar? What?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. What about dice?
Are you a dice gremlin? How many folds of dice do you have? Yeah.
Off the top of my head, more than 10, less than 20.
Oh, that's good.
So I think a lot of people probably go through and like get like maybe if you go into like your local shop or go into a place that has anything to do with D&D, like getting the set of D&D dice, you can spend as much or as little as you want on them.
I was like, that's the biggest struggle for me going into game stores. Is like, obviously you go buy the minis and you get the inspiration and maybe you buy one, then you walk by the dice and it's just, you feel, oh, I don't have these. Oh, these ones are fluorescent pink and I don't have anything like that.
Exactly.
And yeah, my crow brain just takes over.
I like to do a thing where if I have, I run my game, I have my couple of sets of dice that all go together. Like I have my red dice. They look like there's some blood splattered ones. There's some clear ones that we have on the table here. And then we have a very classic solid red D20.
Yeah, you got some favorites.
Yeah, I've got some favorites and I've got some ones that now I'm not superstitious and obviously it's just you roll the die and whatever happens, happens. But there are some dice that I'm going to be like, I'm playing this character. These are my guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to pull them out and play. And like, they don't steer me wrong too often.
Yeah. I'm not superstitious. I'm very data driven and I have some dice. I know what the statistics are supposed to be, but I also know how they manufacture dice. I have some dice that do not roll well, and I have some dice that roll really well. So I've always liked to do this is my character and this is what they have. Yeah, and then as soon as that die rolls incorrectly, I'm like, nope, going back with my die that usually rolls above a 12.
See, that's the thing. I usually stick with them. That's
very admirable.
If they're not working for me, there was a moment we had in the game.
You don't have a dice jail.
No, I definitely get like pissed off at but like again, it's a hunk of plastic more often than not. So it's like, come on, you roll the dice and whatever happens.
You remember semi recently where I threw that one die and scared people at the table?
Yeah.
I just jumped it across the room. I haven't seen that thing since. I have no idea where it went.
Good. It went to the shadow realm.
It did. It got the message.
Shiboba. How do you feel? Let me ask you a question. If you were going to have like a set of dice that would be like your only dice you ever use ever, would they be your very standard, like just resin or plastic die? Would they be like something intricate, like a gemstone die, because they do those, or would you go for like the metal?
I don't like how heavy the metal
But you
ones
can
are.
only use them.
If it was like one of the sets I have right now, I would use my giant wood ones because they're massive.
Yeah, it's fun.
They're carved with they're like specifically like Cthulhu dice. Yeah, like they're Cthulhu, like they're full range of the like what kinds they are, but they have eldritch markings on them that are pretty fun. And since they're wood, they're big, but they're not super heavy. Like the metal dice, even the little ones, sound like they're going to go through the table.
Yeah, you need.
Yeah, and like I said, we have a screen, and so like there's plexiglass on the screen, but when you roll them on there, I'm like, I don't like that. And it's chewing up the screen.
Little uncomfortable.
But like when I roll a die that's as big as a softball,
Yeah,
but it doesn't weigh as much,
it's kind of fun.
it is very fun. So I would do that, or I don't think I get two choices, but I'm going to give myself two choices. Opposite end of the spectrum, I have those ones that are like this big. The
really
microscopic
ones?
dice. And they're such a pain in the ass.
Can't read them, can't see them.
For the comedy, I might pick those.
For the little dice, yeah.
I love either a massive or
I love you. Your spectrum is I either want the comically tiny dice I can't read, or I want the giant ones that still aren't gonna hurt anything.
yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, I either want to lose them or be a nuisance.
That's great. Me, I would pick a very, very classic set. I would find a standard set of dice that I really like, and I would just use those again and again and again. And I'd probably use I actually have some Witcher dice, like from The Witcher. So like they were a really fun gift.
Mm-hmm.
They're a really cool theme and color and everything on them. They're
That's
just
very
fun.
cute.
And they roll okay. They roll pretty well for me. I'm one of the crazy people who think you should have two sets of dice at all times on the table.
Oh. That's less than some people.
I think you should probably only really have about two sets of dice. I don't think you need to set up your dice in a row. I like to set up my dice in a row to see, like, okay, here are my boys. These are my ladies.
I usually don't have a full set of die on the table. I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
Yeah, well, I usually will tray that you could just pick through with what.
Yeah. It usually doesn't have a D4 for some reason. I didn't have a D8 last game.
I don't roll D4s very often.
I have, just for reference, I'm not like thin on dice. I have over 300 dice.
Yeah.
And I just never have a complete set when I need it. I always will have to hunt for something. Or I'll lose something.
You did a really cool thing with your quantity where you have them in a tray and you have them separated.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool way to do it.
Yeah, I really like that. When you need a D6, you pull out the container of
Z6s. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think if you have a bunch of dice, that's the way you do it. Don't separate them by sets.
Unless something tells you have to, then
If you're having fun, do it. I think that's unhinged because how are you going to keep them separate forever? You're gonna have if you
little felt bags.
Again, I have they're like 21 or 20 something sets of dice.
Yeah.
It's an insane amount that I have to keep the little plastic things. And that's not gonna happen.
Upgrade to little felt bags, like jewelry bags and things like that.
So I have a million felt bags everywhere. To me, one container separated by type, that's good enough for me.
I think it's totally fun.
Yeah, I'm not the kind of person where I have to use the same set. I know a lot of people are. They're like, if I use this D20, I have to use the other 6 that are in the set.
Right.
I don't have that. We can.
I think it's fun, and I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with people having a bunch of dice on the table at once. I think it's literally just crow brain of like, ooh, shiny, I like this one. And you know what? If you're there for that too, in the same way of like, I'm there for combat, I'm there for role play, I'm there for rolling the dice. If it makes you happy, do it.
Yes.
Play the game. And
as a dungeon master, what's the max amount of sets you'd want? 3, I think that's fine. I think if you're over 4, stop it.
What do you need all that back there for if you have like your notes in like
where you have the room?
Yeah. I mean, like you have a DM screen, like that's already cordoning off how much room of the table you can take up, as opposed to like your players at the table. And another thing, we're talking about tabletop. The table's a really important thing. Can we agree? And this is like really granular. Can we agree that there is a certain particular size that you want for a table? You want a dining room table.
Oh, like
for the table every time. You can make whatever work.
Yeah,
you can make something like this.
For instance, if you have this
Little TV tray table, nothing wrong
you
with
can
it.
make it work. Obviously, you want room. You want room to be engaged, to have the other physical stuff. But again, that's levels to it. If you're starting out and you don't have an investment, sure. If you're playing for years and years like we are, I mean, we've talked about like we're getting to the stage where we're like about to build a new table.
Yeah.
So we can have the screen as a part of the table, not on it, and give everyone room and have like cup holders and because we've played for so long that it's becoming necessary.
Yeah.
It's like if you only have a TV tray, that's cool. But if you're playing for years and years with a TV tray, that's going to get really annoying after a certain point.
You might do better playing on the ground.
You might, but then you're over 30 and it hurts.
Oh yeah, it doesn't quite work as it's again. There's a finite amount of time that you can do some stuff like.
But I would agree with you. I think if you're playing a long-term game and you have more than 3 people, like 3 players, then yeah, dining room size, 6-foot table. That's what you're gonna want.
Step down, just a slight step down. Coffee table. Coffee table is usually going to be.
If you have 3 players, sure. If you have 4, you're running out of room. If you have 5, 6, 7, impossible.
4, I think, for a coffee table is fine. I think more than that, you need a dining room table.
Again, one person has a laptop in that situation, and you have no room.
Here's a question.
One person's playing with a laptop on a coffee table, and you've run out of space.
Here's a weird question. Do you think... Now, obviously, this is your own personal opinion. Do you think there should be what's the realistic limit on how many players you should have? Let's say you have the perfect setup. You have your own room set up that can fit like a standard dinner table, you know? You have enough room to have everybody have their stuff on the table or right at the edge of it, including a laptop or a tablet or your books for each character set. And the DM has a large enough front end of the table.
Well, okay, so
do what I need to do.
How I play, like I use my nowadays, again, now that I figured out my setup, I have a little rolling desk that I keep off to my side that has my laptop on it. And because of that setup, I really just need my die roller and my dice. I don't keep anything behind my screen, essentially. So with my setup, I could negate basically everything I have and give it all to my players. So with that, the absolute max legally, because in our group, I don't want anyone missing, 7 players, which is what we have. It's 8 people total with me there. I can make that work. Especially if, you know, with using the entire table, and you know, you guys got to move your stuff when it's map time, but that's my absolute max. What I actually would want, like my ideal game size is max of 4 people. And I say that because if it's not like a one shot, if it's an extended campaign, I think that eventually you need a little bit of room to breathe. You need a little bit of that extra space on the table. Because you can do more things, you can have more props. The battles aren't as big, so your maps can be smaller. I think the game in general, with D&D specifically, works a lot better with 4 or less players. Now, again, you can make anything work. I played in one game that had 17 people there.
Would you say that game worked?
They were playing it. I didn't necessarily have that as much fun. But again, I wouldn't trade our group for anything.
No.
So if we can get all 7 people there, then that's what we're playing. We're making it work. But it does have its limitations. It does have its things that make it inherently hard to do to play the role of a dungeon master. So anyone starting a game, I would be wary of it. Again, not impossible. This game is entirely make believe. You can do whatever you want. But I would argue that people would have an easier and possibly little slightly bit more fun time with slightly less players. Not everybody has to be a part of every game. And if that's like you have one game with 3 people, one game with 4 people, and that's how you play with those 7 people, you might find that people are taking more of a front stage approach with those games.
Yeah.
You might find that they have a bit more player agency with those games. And you might find that, not everybody has to be in agreement.
And not everybody is going to share the limelight equally.
And with large groups, it's basically impossible.
Yeah. I think our group does really well.
I think we've learned,
and I think our chemistry has allowed us to get better at doing it.
And it comes down to what you said with player types too.
Yeah.
Like we have some players that like it's not really their thing to be out talking, and that's fine. So that kind of helps us. If we had 7 people who
all always to be the face of the group,
that wouldn't work. So like having a good spread of players, like. Again, we're kind of an anomaly. We've been playing for years with a lot of people, and usually every game has everybody there. From what I can tell, that's not normal.
At least 5 or 6 players every time, yeah.
Yeah.
Like very rarely do we have less than 5 people playing, not including the DM.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very rare. I think
it's cool.
It's very fun. Like that's why I started it. Yeah, that's why I started. Like I wouldn't trade that for anything. No. Like if that's how I play D&D for the rest of my life, like I will be so happy. Yeah. But if we're talking about hypotheticals, like it's like a 3-player game. I think like we started a 3-player game.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see how that goes.
We gotta get back to that.
Yes, I know. We do got to do that. But that's like my experiment with smaller games. Never really been a part of a small game. So I think I have my thoughts about it, but haven't even like played enough to know if I do prefer a small game over a large game.
I would think, for me to answer the question, I would think 4 to 5 is ideal. 6 is like you need some experience, or you need a bunch of friends who are like good with each other. 7 to 8, you need to be on your game. You need to go in there you have a battle plan ready. 9 or 10 people total, just total 9 or 10 people. So you have a special, right? This is a big huzzah. Like this is a big, you're getting people from out of town playing too, right? If that's your regular game
session, that is what that is.
Crazy.
If you're doing shopping sessions with 10 people, wild.
There's an interesting thing with that as a diversion. I think the more that you can take the mechanics and still have them, but have them be like shopping in general.
Hey, you gotta automate some stuff.
Yeah, write me a list of what you want, and I will and I'll tell you what the bill is, and then if you agree, and then we can do that in game. But I don't want an hour for 2 people to go shopping and have a character interaction.
Yeah, that comes down to talking to your group, and communication is one of the biggest things. I wish they would harp on it a little more. They do in the books when they're like teaching you how to do this stuff.
I think that is there, but I think it's not there enough. No, but it's also geared to that lower player platform too. Because if you can communicate with 4 people can communicate relatively well. 8, 9, and 10 people all getting all of their ideas across is going to be difficult. We've only done as well as we have because we're all friends, and we've gone through it, and we've gone through the pitfalls and the high heights.
Yeah, like I said, abnormality. A lot of groups are just loose friends playing together, I'd say,
or friends of friends,
right? Like, hey, we needed another player, so we brought this guy in, and now this guy wanted to play. I met him at work, and I told him that we had a game, and so I think we are an anomaly.
And we're talking about getting the game off the ground and having the game happen. Finding players, I I wouldn't. It seems I don't know where to start. The only thing I know I would have to do is go to a local game store, talk to the manager, talk to the people there.
That's good.
And see if you can sit in, see if they have like a community game night.
Yeah, and there's like forums. I know there's like find players, and I know like there are solutions. Most major cities have boards that are looking for players.
Social media chats and things
But
like
again,
that.
it does seem tough,
daunting.
yeah. I mean, that's where the very common story of someone wants to play, so they become a dungeon master to get their friends to play.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how I started. When I was in Wilmington, like obviously we were playing online, but my connection was so terrible that I really wasn't playing. And then one of the players who was connected to my character left, and it was kind of weird. But so while I was away, out of town, I started my own game with a bunch of just friends of mine, and I was like, hey, this is what this game is. Doesn't this sound cool? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, I'll run it. I'll teach you guys all how to play. And I had no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, those are the worst games I've ever ran. And everybody had fun. Everybody had fun because nobody knew what they were doing. No. So if you want to play and you can't find anybody that like will run a game and knows what they're doing, pick up the Dungeon Master Guide, give it a quick read through, find some of your like favorite idiots who will let you put them through this, and then just let them have fun in a fun little world. Don't take it too seriously because you will fuck up.
I have a really good story about me getting started doing this, and it was 4th edition D&D. Me and another friend went to one of our local game stores and said, we don't really have a whole lot of people to play. One of us is going to run the game, but do you have anybody who has a game that maybe they'd let us join for a thing? And the guy goes, I'll do you one better. Guy behind the counter. What's the day you guys can come in and I'll run a 2-hour game? I'll run a 2-hour, 3-hour game while I'm running the shop. And I'm like, whoa. So we just do a simple little encounter thing where our characters that we create, he's the DM, and we go and investigate a farmstead, and we have a D&D game with just the shop owner
That's so
talking to us while a bunch of other games are going on in the background. I gotta say, I know a lot of people that get into these kinds of games are probably typically not always a big socialite.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can be very I know I'm very introverted, high camera, but in reality I don't typically want to go and engage with strangers.
Yeah.
I think if you push yourself and go to your local game store, now there's always going to be
Yeah, someone
interesting events.
Yeah.
There will be random encounters you will have that may not always be great.
Yeah, you've always had an affinity for like the game store, and
I think it's so cool. I think it's a bunch of like-minded people getting together and having a good time. I think
the physical aspect too. It's the environment. Like there's minis on the wall. There's actual terrain because they have terrain. So there's all sorts of stuff tying you into this experience, and
it only
it's like a when in Rome situation.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what you're doing. That's fine. Just do what everyone else is doing.
also support your local.
Also support your local game stores. They need it.
Yeah.
They 100%. Like you keep saying, local game stores. A lot of people don't have local game stores. Like our closest good ones, like an hour away.
30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, and a lot of people, it's like even farther than that.
Yeah, which is rough. Yeah, not everybody has the available transportation. So, if you have friends, you can carpool, find a way to get out there at least once. If it's not your vibe, it's still an experience, and it's still a place that you can go to and get stuff you need when you do have that liquid currency.
Yeah. I want to build on that a little bit because again, some people don't have local game stores. Some people don't have friends that will play the game with them. So that's why we brought up there are online avenues that like Discords and forums and people looking for players. The online scene is exploding. Like it has exploded.
Yeah.
Especially like over the pandemic. Like it is a viable way to play this game.
Totally.
And
like it's never been before.
Yeah, we're talking about all like the physical aspects. Let's talk about the digital physical aspects that VTT a virtual tabletop has never been cooler.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
You can run Warhammer, you can run D&D, you can run...
When you're throwing a map up there and then you size your map correctly to the point where you have ruler tools and know how many inches is on your digital map, and there's like Roll20 has Fog of War, where you're a player, you don't know where things are on the map. It's like it is not as big. Like, obviously I prefer in person, but the gap is closing. And like, just imagine like in 5-10 years max, when VR is a actual way to play this game.
Maybe.
Oh,
it could always happen.
I can play Civ on VR. Yeah. Like, it's not too far away to where you can use virtual tabletop elements in a different, like, even if it's being around a virtual table.
I'm sure there are people in VR chat who are doing this already.
Yeah, like again, if I can be around a virtual table playing Civilization, I can be around a virtual table playing Dungeons and Dragons.
So not everybody's going to be able to deal with that or have access to that kind of tech.
But the gap, again, if there's ways to play this game.
Yeah, there are ways.
If you really want to play this game,
more than ever,
you can go play this game. I promise you, and you can have so much fun, and you can make memories and stories that you're going to remember forever. You're going to remember the like what you said, just having a local game shop owner run a game for you, or fighting bone dragons or fighting T-Rexes. If you have an opportunity or have to make the opportunity, playing TTRPGs it's beautiful. It's amazing.
It's a great pastime. It's a great hobby. It's part of the reason that we started this.
It is. So that's why our name was Chaotic Neutral. We're not on that. Yeah, it's like, well, it's not even in our intro, but D&D is such a big part of our personalities.
Yeah. Gaming in some way in general.
Yeah. I think how do we close this one? This is such a love letter. Like, we love everything about this.
Why don't we ask for some engagement? Why don't we ask for people?
Yeah, what's your favorite mini you've built? What was terrain? Even stories, like game shop stories,
anything good or bad. What have you built? What have friends built to put something out on the table for you guys to enjoy? Give us some of your stories. I'd love to read.
Yeah, I know there's some wholesome stuff out there. I know there's some chaotic stuff out there too.
I kind of want to read that.
Yeah, don't shy away. If it's a horror story, give that to us as well. We'd love to read it. We'd love to respond to it. Love to have you guys in a discussion. If you've made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing. We really want to build a community here, I think, and
I do have a question to end it on.
Oh, perfect.
I do have a question for that. All that still being there, love to see that if we can.
Yeah.
I do have a question, and feel free to answer this one too. What's something you're missing? What's something that if money was no object, what is something that you want that would, if not complete, enhance and raise it to a new level for your tabletop experience?
So I'd say largely a studio, but aside from that,
I made you try some of it.
Yeah. I tried to get it to work for so long. Sirenscape is close, but I just can't get it to work the way I want it to. A soundboard with sound effects, not even music. I want atmospheric sound effects. I like that. I like that way more than music. If I could get that to work, I think that'd be the final piece. You get on a ship, you hear the waves crashing. Yeah. I hit a seagull flying overhead at an opportune moment, or even like, oh, you guys come around the corner and I hit a growl, and you guys are immediately like on edge.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a little fog of war, and there's so many sound effects that you can play with, like. Music sets tone, but sound effects create immersion.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and that's what I would do.
I'd want a table. I'd want the perfect table. Now, there are a bunch of...
the one we're going to build.
The one we're going to build, yeah, of course. I want a table that has room for you to, like, on the underside, have, like, a shelf for your books. I want there to be a little indentation for you to put your dice there. I want a little cup holder. And then under the table, it's similar to a setup that you have now, but a little more.
Yeah.
Either above that have that be the platform for your screen or your actual mats to go, and have it be big enough for a standard mat, or have it be sunken into the table. You have your lip where you could have your roll tray, and then down into the table, you can see
I like
the screen or the map or whatever.
In the dip down, you can have the dice actually roll in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like a little roll tray.
a table every fucking.
Don't play where it lies, kids.
I like this chat. I like this chat. Obviously, we're gonna come back to D&D. We didn't touch on anything. Like obviously TTRPGs in general. We'll probably do deep dives on some of our favorites.
Yeah, some different game types and everything. And we focused a lot on Warhammer.
Yeah, we wanted to stick with the physical nature, but we will be back.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for watching. Like Taylor said, please jump in the comments with the answers to our questions or your favorite memories. Basically anything. We're just happy that you're here. So ta-ta for now, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Oh, here. Let's have a roll off.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
18.
I got a 16. Dang.
Okay.
I win. Good job.